Gotta hear that.
Yeah, here we go. Boom. Yes. And we're back.
Okay, so now we're going
For her.
we're going to yes, we miss Hedy Danon. We miss Tallulah. What was the name of
Bankhead.
your
Lulu Bankhead
Lulu
will,
Bankhead.
will make another appearance.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta be
will.
hurt.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's very funny because in the movie Billie Holiday versus that Tallulah Bankhead is her
This-
friend,
this is her
right?
friend, yeah.
Oh, was she really?
Never.
Yeah, and they're going,
Never.
because they're having a relationship, so they go into the hotel and everything, and then there's a couple of interesting scenes there with.
No, seriously. That's well, we'll discuss that one later.
But I think Frida Kahlo had a relationship with Billie Holiday too.
I've always, I've
Oh
always
yeah,
heard
I
about
think so
this.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Anyways, so best director is Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, David Fincher for Mank, Chloe
Damn.
Zhao
Zhao.
for Nomadland, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, and Lee Isaac Chung for Minari. I think we're back to you again, Lon.
Okay.
Me? Ha! Well, this is the funny thing, because I'll tell you right now that the two people who wanted to be nominated was the director of Sound of Metal and the director of The Father.
That's who you want.
Because as the whole of the picture, they did something very unique, which was, like I said, bring me into their world. So, of the five, I would say I would pick Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, because again, that probably had the more effect.
That's good.
Yeah.
Though I must admit too, I would also think as a dark horse, Emerald Fennell, because I thought her direction of Promising Young Women was also a very unique way of telling a story, because it is a black comedy. That's the strange part of it. I was surprised how humorous it was, how many comedic actors were in it, and yet, again, not being a woman, but the premise alone of what she's doing to men, I thought that's almost perfect, right? Confronting them, and again, it may be because of the Me Too movement, I don't know, but I just thought that was really an outstanding story in my opinion. That's why I like Carey Mulligan in the movie. There was something that I kept laughing during the entire movie. Yeah. You know, I loved her parents, Carey Mulligan's parents, you know, in that. And then, you know, it was just sort of amazing. So that's why I personally think Chloe Zhao will win, because Nomadland, again, I just thought, like the other two, I'm totally immersed in this world of nomads in America. People who are all on the road. Some of them don't have money problems. Some of them do, but I'm in that world, and they really, I thought, thoroughly realized everything, especially when one of them stops going on the road and finds a home.
Right.
You know.
The
So,
set budget must have been zero. Really.
oh, I disagree. Are you kidding? Trying to find those kind of trucks and all those things to have people do all that. So that's who I would pick. Even though, again, I think she won. Didn't she win? Chloe Zhao win?
She did win, yes. Golden
Awards
Globe, I
too.
think.
Golden Globe.
And again, became like famous because like the first Asian woman ever to
Right.
win. I thought, because that was another thing. It's like, wow, you have actually two Asian people. As an Asian person myself, we take note of that. You know, it's not like it's dismissed. So, but you know, I'm not going to fault because.
She was like this. No.
Because Thomas Vinterberg did Another Round, which is another oddly funny but strange and sort of dark movie about alcohol in Denmark and their views on it. David Fincher, I thought, presented a wonderful look at Hollywood back in that time period. I mean, it really, in the style of that movies of that time period as well, which is I really did appreciate. And the Lee Isaac Chung, like I said, with Minari, the performances and just the simpleness of telling a story,
Right.
again, very well. But like I said, I wish, and I didn't even look up who the directors of The Father and Sound of Metal were, so I apologize on that.
Okay.
So what do you think?
That's you.
Oh, me? Oh, that's a tough one too. Yeah, I did not see Another Round. In fact, I wanted to see it, and then I decided to watch Pieces of a Woman instead because I thought, you know, how heavy that's. Now I wish I would have seen Another Round. But I like Mank too because if I would have just walked in the room when they were watching Mank, I would have thought they were watching TMC.
Yeah.
The movie felt like an old Hollywood picture. That even the way they would do the coloring and the way they did the setting. There's a lot of scenes where they use CGI to get those buildings back, but just the look of it was just so like I was watching classic films. I like watching classic films too, so that was good. The Nomadland, the cinematography in the movie, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I was
it
like
was amazing.
watching National Geographic, just like I said, from the desert to up in northern California and the ocean, Pacific Ocean. It was, and Minari, it's kind of like I would say like Nomadland, but it's great cinematography, but it wasn't. It's just regular cuts. So I didn't find like the other one. And then the Promising Young Woman. I actually that was very. I just found the movie very entertaining. I mean, I really liked the movie. It's just I don't know if as a director, I mean, so would be the cuts. Anyways, I'm now mumbling. For me, it would have to be the Nomadland or Mank. I would say for just
Scotch for you.
yeah, right. So I'd probably go Mank just because I really felt like I was watching an old film. Just everything around it for that one.
So you picked
Anyways.
David Fincher.
David Fincher. Yes, David
'Cause
Fincher.
I will say this. I actually thought of you when I was watching this movie because I said, it's about the Mankiewicz. Because remember how you talk about All About Eve?
Yes.
You know, Joseph
Oh, yes,
Mankiewicz,
yes, yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's his
It's a great
movie. So
movie.
Yeah.
that's what
Yes.
made me laugh. That you see the younger version of him and that his brother, who was the established person,
Right.
was sort of going down in his career.
Yeah, so that's what I would say, David Fincher.
Yeah.
Sean? Oh, you. Sorry. I'm not going in a row. It throws me
No,
off.
that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, because again, this is one that between, for me, it was between Minari, No Man Land, and Mank. I will pick Mank. I'm picking Mank because of the way the director got the time. There was not a flaw that I could see. There wasn't a flaw in it. I mean, I felt like George said, I felt like I was watching, old Channel 5 and they putting on an old movie. And,
But the guy
and
sitting on the couch with the smoking jacket
and
and the
Gary
pipe.
Oldman, I
So then we're
couldn't-
gonna watch.
I couldn't, excuse me, Gary Oldman, I couldn't even recognize him as Gary Oldman. He was perfect because I believed he was Mank.
Yeah.
And it really was. This also could have been a play too. I don't know that but it could be, because it's all done in basically one set. One room is really it. So I didn't see anybody other than actually, so the actors, like how the movie was put together. I agree with you that the father should have been in there, because going back and forth can be very confusing. But it isn't, so Mank. Excuse me.
Nomadland, Chloe Zhao. Is that her name?
Chloe Zhao.
Zhao.
Yeah, that's it.
Next.
I think I know what's going for Best Picture for Patty.
Was there something? Oh,
John's next.
Mank.
Yeah.
That's it. David Fincher. I thought it was outstanding.
I'm gonna sneeze.
You
Bless
go,
you.
you go ahead and
Salud.
sneeze.
I have the worst thing that if I cough, I have to sneeze twice.
Somebody else says that.
As a bartender, that was very embarrassing. Because if I cough twice, that would be 4 sneezes. It's weird. Okay, so the thing I was gonna, where was I gonna?
Was that everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was gonna ask Patty something, and I forget what it was. Because you picked Mank.
No.
You picked No Man.
Nomadland.
Nomadland,
They had the director, Chloe Zhao.
Yeah, I was really torn with that one too. Because I mean,
But I don't know the criteria for all these. I gotta find out the criteria for
well,
how they
well,
decide.
the thing, I think the direction is really how you put the movie together, kind of thing. Oh yes, and like when it first started, Mank, it was like they ran the credits. I was like, hey, if they ran the
I
credits,
know,
like
yeah,
we
like
used
those
to
old
see them in
films.
the beginning of the movie, not the end of the movie, right? I was like,
Because then you had to stay.
And they did that they used to do those fades where they used to do a circle, fade to
Yeah.
black,
Right,
but it
yeah.
was a circle, and then the circle would come up again. Now we do actual face. They don't do face that much anymore. They just cut to the next scene.
Right.
But yeah, so they
But
had that too.
I noticed there's another transition scene too, where when you see first the Marion Davies character, she's up there and everything. So you see, they finished the scene. So you see the guy with the light standing, and all of a sudden the light just goes dark.
Right.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
that's what I said.
That's
Those
classic
things
Hollywood.
are just really they really nuanced and made that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I always wondered what Victorville looked like in 1937. Can't even imagine. Okay, so
It pretty much looks the same now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
okay, I'm gonna continue on. Is that good
Sure,
with
that's
you?
fine. Yeah, just a little
Okay.
quickie.
Stop it.
So, no, yes, please, sweetie.
Do you want to do the count? How many?
No. Okay,
Sorry, Puddin.
so now we're on Best Picture.
Yeah.
Best Picture. Drum roll. Okay, so the pictures are Sound of Metal, Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, The Trial of the Chicago Seven. Okay, so George.
Oh, me? Wow. Alrighty. This is this actually, I would say they were really good movies. The Sound of Metal, what I liked about that movie was that, and why I think it was a great title, because when he gets well, I don't know if it's a spoiler alert, but when he gets he wants the operation, he wants to get those the thing.
Oh yes.
Everything sounds metallic.
Yeah.
I thought it was about music, but no. When he hears people talking, this grinding metal sound, and that's, to me, that was the Sound of Metal. I thought that the audio, like, this movie should probably get something for
Sound design.
sound design.
Yeah.
This is
And
unbelievable.
technical,
Yeah,
yeah.
sound
Thoroughly
design.
agree.
Yeah, so that was so great. Mank, I already said that about the way they captured that time period. They made it look like you were watching a film from that time period. I would say, Minari, Promising Young Woman, The Father, those cuts, that movie really took you into the mind of somebody going through that. Just his confusion, like in one scene of different people. Like pretty soon you're like, do I have it? Because I'm confused. Is that, I don't know now. I don't know who's the daughter. Is that the daughter? No, okay, now I have Alzheimer's. So they did a great job of showing you what's it like for somebody to go through that, and that was really good. That the Trial of Chicago 7, that kind of shit. But for me, that I would say Judas and the Black Messiah is the one that I really felt that just the way the whole movie was done, it was really powerful. It felt like I was watching a movie from the 70s too,
Yeah.
so
Right.
it was like those black exploitation films.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it really, I would have gone between that and it was either, for me, it was either Sound of Metal, Mank, Father, and Judas and the Black Messiah. But I think that's the one that I really felt the one that really hit me the most. I felt I was watching like a serious, that left me thinking about it afterwards. So that's the one I would give it to. There you go.
Okay.
Am I wrong? But wasn't Ma Rainey's Black Bottom
No.
that wasn't nominated for Best Film?
No.
There were only 7 then.
1, 2,
okay.
3, 4,
4, 5,
5,
yeah.
6, 7.
Oh, okay.
Okay, which one, Sue?
Okay.
Unless I missed it.
Yeah. In case.
In case.
Okay.
Google it.
I'm not picking it anyway, so.
Yeah, there you go.
So we left it off.
Yeah. Nah, that's not gonna win. It's not gonna win.
No. Anyways, so I love Mank, but when you do best film, you think of what's the best overall, brought you the most pleasure. You don't think about the acting. It's
Right.
it's just the most enjoyable, and in these bunch, enjoyable is the wrong word. The most
Emotional.
absorbing,
Emotion,
or absorbing. Just
Which one wanted to make me kill myself? The most.
no.
That would be a tight thing.
There was
No, they were
these
powerful.
movies
Powerful
were
movies.
so good that it was just so hard to pick. And the Sound of Metal, when I first watched that, I was like, yeah, that's the movie, right? That guy is just amazing. The story's amazing. And Mank, that's that one, right? That's the one. That's what's
That's
going
what
to
you're
be.
choosing? Bank?
No, that's what you thought every time
I
she
just
watched
went
one.
through everyone. Minari, unbelievably great.
Great movie.
The Korean movies, I just love so far. All the Korean movies. One time, many, many years ago, when there was a Z channel, they had on
I remember.
a Korean
the Z channel.
their film festival kind of thing. They just ran
the
all
international
Korean,
film
right?
festivals, right?
I was like, these movies are amazing. They're very dramatic, but it was like
Yeah, I used to watch Korean drama on Sundays. There was Korean soaps, and it's like when it's a soap opera about the like the girl works in the office and she's a ninja too. By the way, wow, these Korean soap operas are killer.
Yeah, so
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
I really like them. I really like them a lot. Funny enough, and it wasn't the Train to Busan. Isn't that one we were doing?
Great movie.
I saw an ad for teaching English in Busan. I was like, Busan? Remember the zombie song? No, you can go there. Okay, Promising Young Woman. Okay, I had a problem with that movie. It's not circled on one of my that I would pick it. I think it's like George said. It's very unique, but I would look at it and I would like not think of it as a best picture. I would think of it as like, wow, that was a really interesting movie. Right? And I love Carey Mulligan. The Father, unbelievable. Judas and the Black Messiah, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. These were the two that was problematic for me because they were both excellent. So I'm ending up picking Judas and the Black Messiah because, I mean, first of all, I think they got the time right.
They did. They really had it down.
Of course, I was a baby at that time, but I remember I was like a teenager, and we're Canadian, but I still heard of this. I remember the trial of the Chicago 7. I remember Bobby Seale. I remember these things, and they just brought it to life for me. And they also got it right. But in a way, Fred Hastings was like he was like a Martin Luther King. And what I mean by that is he made the very dangerous.
No, Fred Hampton.
Oh, sorry, Fred Hampton. Oh. It's Heather Hastings. Fred Hampton.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like he made the very dangerous proposition that people are getting screwed and they need to unite. And that's why he became dangerous. And then at that time, the enemy were the CIA and the FBI. That's who was screwing with everybody. And that's who was screwing with the Panthers. That's who was screwing. And like everybody knew it. The Vietnam guys, everybody knew that. So I thought that they got it right. And I just loved this movie. I just loved it. It was amazing. Okay.
Trial of the Chicago 7, I think, is going to win.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Was that your favorite out of watching
liked
all
it,
of
It's
them?
not my favorite, but I think that's what's going to win.
Really?
But it's a great movie.
What would you pick? What would be your favorite, though, that you
See,
enjoyed?
wouldn't be one. That's the only one I can say stands out.
Okay.
Yes, I
He
agree.
agrees. He agrees.
You know what? Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
He disagrees, Patty.
What do you
Please.
think, baby? And Virgil says... Okay, we've changed it to Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay. Good choice, Virgil.
But did you like some of these? You thought they...
I loved all these movies.
Yeah, they were. There's some,
But
See, I'm surprised, too, because I thought Nomadland's not nominated.
I know.
We better Google it in case I missed a couple. On that list.
it doesn't matter. That's what I'm voting for. Anyway.
No,
So
I'm
it
going
doesn't
for the
matter.
Trial of the Chicago 7.
It was a
I'm
good
sticking with
movie.
that.
It was a good movie.
Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah.
I think that's because I don't think it's going to get.
Anything else?
Yeah, really. I mean, I would like Sacha Baron Cohen to win something. I think because he did a really great job. But yeah, I think that's kind of going to be a dark horse.
It was a good movie. I have no argument. If any of these
Yeah,
win, I
it was
have
a good
no
movie.
problem.
Great movie.
Yeah. Well, to me, like I've said before, it's going to come down for me for The Father or Sound of Metal. Because when I watched both those movies, like I said, here is somebody going through Alzheimer's. You are then presented of exactly how it feels. So it's really engaging. It really drew me, and I love that. That's why I said that their performances are great. I got a little confused at one point, but that's like, oh, that's what they're showing.
Yeah.
They're actually showing.
Yes.
They're confusing
If
you.
you get that dementia, exactly how it is. In fact, there's one sequence that I was sort of bothered by, and that was sort of the physical abuse sequence. Because I was trying to determine, did that really happen?
Right.
Because even Rufus Sewell is so good playing his role, you can actually picture him hitting him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
resenting
yeah.
him.
Plays
Yeah.
a rotten guy.
Well, no, he plays the hero too, but he's such a good actor. But that's why he's
You
good.
don't know.
upon it.
Is it true?
Yeah,
Is
you
it
don't know.
Well,
I
that's
thought
the
the same
problem.
thing.
Exactly. So
Sean,
stuff
I
like
mean, you had
that.
to deal with Alzheimer's. Did that movie portray?
Oh, holy shit! Yeah.
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 Well, see,
I
my
mean, it's
mother suffered
unbelievable.
from dementia too.
I didn't
Like,
know
you
that.
know that, so I understand that, especially with nurses trying to coax her. You have to take your pills. You have to do this. You have to do that. It's like, but she doesn't want to. Or eating. She had problems eating. So it's like,
Or seeing
have
their
to eat,
reality. I think
So
that was the
my
problem.
thing is, so when she ever asked the same question over and over again, I never got mad. And my father's going through that now, where he keeps asking the same questions over
Right.
and over. So it's like, oh, and that's why I like what Olivia Colman's character is doing. Again, so incredible how she can keep that smile up, and yet you see that little dream sequence or fantasy sequence she has. Again, thinking, okay,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
gone. Yeah. And
There's a range of emotions. for
that's
the
what I mean,
caregiver,
exactly.
would think.
So the way psychologically they're presenting it on film, I love that.
Yeah,
They're
that was
really
really
showing you what people are going
Yeah,
through.
because it shows you what he's going through, and it shows you what
Yeah.
the people caring for him, like
The
in a way
daughter.
they're wishing it to
Right.
be over too, and that's where you see that.
In fact, that was the Imogen Poots character. Really, I thought was fascinating because she's playing when he says, "Oh, you look like my other daughter," and I thought, "Oh, that's who she's supposed to be." And then, of course, you don't find out later what happens to her. So
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, very interesting." So, and the Sound of Metal, exact same thing. I felt I am in his world. Like you said, based strictly on the sound design of that movie. That I thought was excellent. When he has the muffled hearing, when he has the I don't want to say static, but even like the
Yeah.
tones.
Yes, the tones,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, right. That you, it's
All the
like
different
because to me it's like, I mean, literally, I was doing the same. It's like, am I
First
hearing
you
that
get
tone?
tinnitus, you think
I
you're
have
going
that.
crazy.
See,
And
I
he did
have
the same
that,
thing.
yeah.
He's doing this. Everything
Right.
we do,
You do
we're
that,
like,
Yeah,
let's
we
get
do
tired.
it all the time.
And so it's like, but just the way they presented everything, to which at the very end, I love completely when he finally learns, okay, I'm going to sit in silence, because that was his whole project that he was supposed to
Right.
do, right? But I will point out the one thing that made it more interesting for me was the fact that he was going to a place specifically, not only for the deafness problem, but for AA kind of problems, the drug. Remember, that's why he said, oh, they found something. So, and Olivia Cook's character, who is sort of strung out as much as he is, give him the bone.
Get him something
Yeah.
to chew on.
In fact, I wonder that's how they met. Probably they met in the AA meeting or something like that.
No. She's the one who got him off. Like that's what he said. You
Right.
saved me. You got 4 years. He was sober off of heroin. I just think she got him off. But then she was damaged psychologically by his behavior. That they were sort of codependent. That when she started scratching her arm or
Yes.
mutilating herself in a way, right? That she was affected by it. So at the end, unfortunately, she sort of sandwiched her character in. And again, I thought it was handled so well, and just because of him. I mean, what he goes through at the very last moments of the film, I said, that is such a perfect ending. So that's why both those films to me, and I can't deny that. Like, well, I would say this: Trial of Chicago 7 and Judas and the Black Messiah. It's like, well, I sort of know these stories, so it's presented really, really well. Mank is the same thing. It's like, oh, I sort of know this kind of story, but it's like, oh, I just not. So that's why I didn't go with more of those sort of, I would say, like really good movies, but I could not get behind them. So I would have to say I would pick Sound of Metal, because that was the one that I think that surprised me the most. And like
So
you said about
different, so
entertaining, it's like I'm watching this movie, in fact, when it started, I thought, oh no, it is going to be a loud music movie. And it turned out completely the opposite, right? But the drama, I really enjoyed the drama. And again, I'm assuming not actors. They really pulled these actual deaf people to be in that. And now,
Yeah.
I could be wrong, they could be deaf actors. I can't take that away from them, right?
Yeah.
But when I found out that the counselor guy, he grew up in a deaf household, it's like, oh, no wonder he's so good, And so And it's weird because out of all the movies, I thought that was the one I was dreading the most. And I think that's why it was such a delightful surprise that's why it turned out to the one I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, actually, that was the first one we saw. Like, it was like
Yeah.
there. The treat for you is all the I had not heard of. I had not, other than No Man's Land, I hadn't watched any of these
Right.
movies.
Oh,
That
see,
was-
Mank was the only one I had seen. Literally, that's when I first came out. It's like, oh my God, they're gonna do about Mankiewicz movie. So, I knew. But in fact, what I loved about that movie was the relationship between him and Marion Davies, because I never knew they had that kind of friendship. It was like really sort of fascinating because she's just known for being, her. I don't want to call her mistress because I think they were actually in love. But for example, when they do Citizen Kane, right? It's about them. That's the thing that we humiliated both of them. They did not. That's why Hearst didn't want that movie to make, and knowing he's sort of being responsible for making that movie, right? So it's like, oh, and that's why I said it's only because I sort of knew the story so well. It was nice to just see them present those characters, but the way they captured the style of the movie, and it's like they just did everything that was from that time period with movies. So,
yes, it was perfect.
and again, as I told you, Promising Young Woman was again another big surprise to me. I see, and that's why I said I still have that movie high up there, and it could be just because I love Carey Mulligan so much. That could be it too.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun seeing her in that kind of a role too, because it's like
After
a difference.
seeing her
yeah.
in The Dig.
Yeah, after seeing her in the dig.
Okay,
But to be quite honest, I'll say this: I don't know which one the Academy Awards will actually pick.
No,
I will say
they're
that.
all excellent.
Yeah.
Usually when the Academy Awards, there's one or two movies that I think are really great,
Right.
and the other one,
Or just okay.
right.
So I will say this year I did enjoy it, and I think it's because of the pandemic.
Right.
But what I hated was how hard it was to try and find all these movies.
Yes,
That was-
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
And-
And some of them set you back actually financially because they're like, wow, come on, man.
well, I'm sorry, I did not regret spending $20 to watch The Father whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
That is it. I got my money's worth. In fact, The Father and Promising Young Women and Sound of Metal are movies I watched twice. I enjoyed them that much.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Well, and that's quite a lot because we missed two movies, I think.
Yeah.
We missed
Yeah.
two. So you have to take that in consideration too, that there might be something we
We'll
missed.
make subsequent movie film.
I know, I wanted to see that too.
Oh,
Any levity would
I
have
watched
been
some
great.
of it, but I was like, wow, that's pretty. Anyways,
So,
it's
Okay.
rough.
what's the
So,
consensus?
So what
so
are we
this
at?
ends at,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
that was two. It's like we're ordering. That would be two, the Black Messiah, wait a sec, hold on. Judas and the Black Messiah, right?
For them.
Mm-hmm.
Two,
Seven.
Trial of the Chicago 7, and one, Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
Loved all the movies. So
Yeah.
if any of them wins, I won't be upset at all.
It was a good one. It was a good one this year.
Okay.
Though I will say this, after watching one of your shows, I was quite disappointed that the movie Soul wasn't actually nominated. Because my thing is, this is the best picture. They can
Well, could
have
it be
10.
maybe it was an
No, but
animated?
they have an animation. It's
Oh
animated.
yeah,
from-
no, it's animated, but it can still be Best Picture. That's why Beauty and the Beast. But I was thinking of
Mm.
all the movies I saw when you guys were talking about. So it's like, okay, I gotta see this. Like, okay, yeah, sure. And then it's like, oh my God,
Well,
this is really
Did you see?
outstanding.
So you watched Soul?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I would rank it at just as well
was a great
as
movie.
Minari or Sound of Metal or Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah,
That movie sort of said a lot for animated film. And again,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I was sort of confused. I thought, I hate when they can have 10 movies, right?
Right.
10 best pictures.
And they don't put it in.
fill it. And I'm sure it has to do with ties, right? They probably have too many close ties in certain movies, but to me, it's like, okay, Soul would have been one movie I would have loved to have seen up for Best Picture this year. Because that was a good experience for me.
Okay, so that ends our picks. So you can thank you on Facebook. This is the first time we did this,
Yeah.
right? And so you can see our podcast. Since you're already seeing it, you don't need to see it, right?
You need to see it.
Recap for a recap.
If you want to see it, right? Again, you just can't get enough. You can look for us on audio on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spreaker, Amazon Music. Look for What the Flicks podcast. You can watch this video on YouTube. Look for What the Flicks. Hit subscribe and like us, right? You can send us your comments and suggestions at whattheflickspodcast@gmail.com. And finally, okay, I already said that. Remember to subscribe. Okay,
All right,
so
then.
that's it. I think you're really going
next
to
time.
enjoy this.
Bye, Facebook.
Bye-bye.